Hi guys, welcome back to our Q4 series. As we get prepared for Q4, we have started the Christmas portion of this series. And this episode is actually a second part to the last episode that was released, where we started talking about 10 things that we need to make sure that we're doing before those Q4 sales really get started. In the last episode, I went through 1 through 5, and in this episode, we're going to go through the things 6 through 10 on that checklist. So you will want to check out that video right here. I will leave it linked down below, but just to put 1 through 5, to say it in a nutshell so you know what we were covering. 1, you want to be ready for the increase in orders. So in that video, I do a deep dive into all of the things that you can do to tackle that. From getting prepared with some extra credit cards to options you have available to you if you're unable to get some credit cards. Second thing on that checklist was how to take advantage of being a part of the Etsy holiday sales events. Third, to double check your Etsy handbook, and I gave a really good tip about the word pajamas. You do not want to miss that tip. You will want to go back and watch that video before you use the word pajamas in your SEO, your title, and your tags. 4 was using mock-ups, and another tip about the pajama mock-ups in that video. You don't want to miss it. And 5, we talked about making sure you're checking uspto.gov to make sure that you are not using trademarked phrases on your shirts or in the title or the tags, your SEO blocks. Today, we are going to talk about items 6 through 10 on our Q4 checklist that we need to start getting checked off right now. We don't want to wait till last minute. Before we jump into number 6, I want to share something with you real quick that my sister-in-law sent to me this morning. We're in a group text that Danielle put together. That's my sister-in-law. And my bestie Shay is in there, our friend Laneta, and our friend Jessie, and my cousin Jamie. So a shout out to all of them. Danielle really wanted to motivate us and keep us accountable. So every Saturday, she's like the data queen. She always goes into our shop. She writes down our numbers, our number of sales, and the number of listings we have in our shop. So she's sending this data to us each Saturday as we're preparing for Q4. And in that message this morning, she said such great words. We are about to hit September. Let's all think about what our Q4 goals are and write out a plan to get there. We can't get sales if we aren't putting up new listings in the niches we want to take off. I just insert applause here. Truer words were never said. So I said to her, truer words were never spoken, O wise one. Those who fail to plan to fail. And I'll just share with you quickly the fun glyphs that we sent back and forth. I made a reference about putting as many fishing lines in the water as I could, and then I said, forget it, I'm not doing fishing lines, I'm putting huge nets. These would be our listings, right? Our fishing poles or our nets would be our listings. And then we had some fun sending images to each other to illustrate that point. We are making a plan today, so we are not going to fail. Let's jump in to number 6. And I think this goes right along with what Danielle was expressing this morning. Number 6 is to list early and list consistently. I don't think I can say it better than what Danielle said with, we can't make sales if we're not listing in the niches that we are wanting to take off. So make sure you've picked a couple of places where you're going to be listing and you're listing consistently. Try to avoid an upload of a bunch one week and then crickets or just 2 or 3 for 2 or 3 weeks. If you're doing that, you are not making a real try at this. This is the time. This is the time where the consistent behavior has the opportunity to have the biggest payoff the fastest, because we are coming in. It's still not too late for you to start making those listings that could really make you a lot of money quickly during Q4. If you wait until January to get serious about this, it's going to be a longer hike, because there isn't quite as much opportunity, especially depending on the niches you choose to get into, to move as quickly as we can during this time of year. If you're watching this right at the beginning of September and you haven't started Halloween listings yet, personally, I would skip Halloween at this point if you didn't already start. You kind of missed that boat. If you already have been listing Halloween, I would keep listing that right up until September 10th through the 15th. But if you haven't started yet, I would skip it. I would do a little Thanksgiving and really focus on Christmas, maybe some Hanukkah in there. Lots of other sub niches in these categories. And I do have a resource that I put together if looking for some help and you need dates, when to start listing by, and when you need to have all of your items listed. Also throughout that resource, I remind you that you shouldn't be jumping in toward the ending where the due dates are. You don't want to be doing that. That is going to be a much longer hike for your Etsy journey. If you're constantly jumping in toward the end, oh, I've got another week, I can still list this, and you're just starting to list in that area, you really have set yourself up for failure if you're continually doing that, and you're going to get burned out, and you're going to wonder why you're not making the sales. You need to be early, so you need to start at the listing dates when they're being suggested, and then you can list up all the way until the due date. But if you're coming up on a due date, skip it. Look to the next thing that is further out where you're early. You're more of an early lister at that point in that category. I will leave a link to that resource down below. Again, it has all of the listing dates for Q4 and when I would suggest listing by and listing up until, along with sub-niches, ideas for cross-niching, scalable phrases, activities that you could focus on making designs for that are popular during this period of time, and ideas for how to niche down, if I didn't already say that. Lots of good information there if you do need something extra. That kind of leads us right in to item number 7 on our checklist. Niche down and cross niche. This is incredibly important. My very first year, I did stuff that said Merry Christmas on it. I wouldn't dare waste my time with something like that now. Even at the place that my shop is now, I would not expect to cash in and make a whole bunch of money with shirts that said something as generic as Merry Christmas. Certainly as a new shop, the chances are even super tiny compared to what it is after you've got your shop with momentum in it. And I still wouldn't spend my time doing that kind of listing. If there are niches, and there should be, niches that you're adding to over time, every single month, if not every single week, you are releasing listings out for particular niches. Whatever niches that you've been working in, make Christmas versions of those listings or in that niche. You want to make sure that you are growing that niche over time and building the momentum. I think of several of my niches are like little money-making monsters in my shop, and I just want to feed them and I feed them by adding to them. So they're like, each of them are their own little trains going, and I just want to keep them fed, keep those railroad tracks laid so they could just keep on growing and going. If you're brand new, then this is going to be extremely important to you. Maybe you're just starting out and you don't have any niches to build on. That is okay. Go ahead and pick some places to list in and focus on, because that is going to bring you more success than being all over the place. So for example, I've mentioned in some other episodes of this series, your type of customer, like a target customer. So let's say it's the new parent, and you're going to be focused on that type of customer. That means if you're doing this the most effective way possible, for Halloween, you've got things in your shop for the expecting mom and the expecting dad. You can look up, there's adorable shirts for the mom to wear that's pumpkin related, or little skeletons, all kinds of cute ways you could go with it. And then you could do the mom and the dad shirt. And then you could even do a mom and a dad and a baby shirt. This is targeting that customer, the new mom, where they're showing off that they're expecting a baby or they've just had a baby. It goes right in hand with baby's first Halloween. Well, then now for Thanksgiving, you need to do those shirts again. Baby's first Thanksgiving, the expecting mom, the expecting dad. And then for Christmas, you need to do that again. And you need to have the expecting mom, the expecting dad, the couple together, the baby's first Christmas. Might even want to then hit gender reveal types of listings for each of those holidays. This is good for so many reasons. Number one, Etsy is able to figure out what you're about because the algorithm is getting this information that you're repeatedly putting out things that are working together. Oh, they've got this chunk of SEO, something about, the expecting mom or the mom to be. Check your trademark phrases, make sure mom to be might be trademarked. But you want to make sure that you have this connection building. And I do this in several places. I haven't just done that in one place, but I do this in numerous places to build each of these areas up in my shop. The second thing that's going to do, after someone purchases from you, over time, people are purchasing from you. If you are making things for baby's first Halloween, and that parent is going to go back in and they're going to look for something for baby's first Thanksgiving, and they're probably going to look for something for baby's first Christmas also. Guess whose shop is going to keep popping up? Yours is, because they already purchased from you. They've already clicked through your items, and you're making other items they could be interested in. This is just good. This is a good strategy. It's smart to do this on so many levels. So I'm going to repeat that real fast. When I repeat something, it means it was important. I just don't want it to get lost. That is powerful, what we just talked about. Building on a niche. Thinking about it in terms of that target customer, in our example just now, that new mom. Baby's first Halloween, baby's first Thanksgiving, baby's first Christmas. Well, then I would hope you're going to do baby's first Valentine's Day if you get some traction in this area and keep that going, because you are going to wind up with repeat customers. I am getting anywhere between 35 to 50 orders a day right now. And out of those 35 to 50 orders a day, I will speak about this specifically and actually count the numbers, but just off the top of my head, it's probably 5 to 7 orders every day that are repeat customers. Repeat customers are making up a large portion of my sales. So one of my little money-making monsters, of course, is the teacher niche. I also have a resource for that one. If you're wondering how to build a niche out over time, I show you how to do that in the teacher resource niche. I will leave that link down below. But I have repeat teachers coming in my shop all the time, because next year when they're looking for that back to school shirt, or now when they're looking for that Christmas shirt, or now when they're looking for that shirt during testing time, whatever it might be, when they're looking for those items, my shop keeps popping up for them. The more often my shop pops up and they click on it, the more often my shop is going to continue popping up for them. And this is how you really build on this kind of thing. 8th thing on our checklist, be sure to do your design research. I could scream this from the mountaintops. This is so incredibly important. You cannot skip trying to improve your skills of doing design research. And in the beginning, I thought this was like very out there, and it was really foreign to me. I didn't really understand it. I will link the entire playlist of videos that I've gone into speaking about this topic. The more you listen about it, the better you will become at it. And the more you take stabs at this, the better you will become at it. If you've been doing this for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and you feel like reaching out and saying, oh my gosh, Shawna, what am I doing wrong? You're not doing anything wrong. You just haven't been doing this for very long. So after a month, 2 months, 3 months, you really haven't had time to really learn how to do all of that design research and all that. So be kind to yourself. Just keep learning. And in that 1, 2, 3 months, have you been watching, I'd say at least 2 videos a day to try to learn this new skill? Either that or take a course. I do have Cassie Johnson's course linked in the description down below too, if you're trying to take the speediest way of learning how to do this. But when I started with just listening to as many videos as I could every day. I would suggest at least 2. In this holiday series, I did go into a deep dive of doing design research for Thanksgiving, and I am going to also do one for Christmas. So I'll give you a really good example of how I'm going to do that with a particular niche, like let's say baby's first Christmas. I'll show how I use that design research to help me with many of the Christmas niches I'm working in, because I will use broader niches to help me design in a more specific niche. I will go on to Etsy itself. I will look at all the bestsellers. And let's say I'm going to do baby's first Christmas. I'll look at baby's first Christmas. I'll look at Christmas in general. I'll look at mom Christmas stuff. I will look at family Christmas things, and I'll bring all of this knowledge over to baby's first Christmas. I'll probably look at toddler Christmas things as well. All of this research will help me understand how to make items that people want to buy. It will make it more likely for me to produce an item that people are interested in purchasing. If you don't want to miss that upcoming Christmas episode on design research, now would be a great time to go click subscribe real fast. And if you are enjoying this content, if you wouldn't mind smashing that like button too, I'd really appreciate that. And while you're down there, let's get some fun energy happening in the comments. If you are ready and stoked for this Q4, type in the comments, let's slay it, spelled like Santa's sleigh. 9th item on our Q4 checklist. Know your POD, print on demand partners cutoff dates for delivery in time for the holidays. Usually this is the 12th or the 13th of December for Christmas. If you're nervous about the deadline and your item's not getting there in time, then put your deadline a few days earlier than what your POD partner is saying it will be. I have personally gone with what the POD company says, and that has worked out really well for me. I've had to refund very few orders. The amount of money I have made has greatly outweighed by lots and lots, hands down, any orders that I've had to refund. And I'm talking just maybe last year I had to refund 3 or 4 orders because they didn't get there in time, but the amount of orders that were coming in every day were a lot. And so it was a lot of profit that was made during that period of time. All right, so number 10, this is gonna lead right into our 10th item on our Q4 checklist. Make sure you're communicating with customers. And of course, this goes right along with knowing your cutoff dates. To communicate deadlines to your customers, you could put it in your shop banner. You can mass edit all your listings to include it at the top of the listing. Make sure also that your shipping profile is accurate so that it's showing correctly to your customers as they're checking out. You can also send a follow-up message to your customer. I usually send a thank you message when I'm pushing my orders through to my customers. If I had a customer coming through and ordering the day after the deadline, I would go ahead and push the order through. I would look at the estimated delivery window that my POD partner was giving me, and if it fell within the right amount of time and they're going to have it before the holidays, I wouldn't worry about messaging the customer about this. But if the window was a little further out and they could get it anywhere between, let's say, the 21st and the 26th, then in that follow-up message, I would just let the customer know, hey there, I just wanted to make sure that you noted the estimated delivery window when you checked out of the shop. We can't guarantee these in time for the holidays. This is your delivery window. We'll wait 24 hours before pushing this order through in case you prefer to cancel. A lot of times when I give them that estimated delivery window, they would say, oh gosh, I'm hoping for a Christmas miracle. Let's see what happens. And I'd say like 7 times out of 10, they would want me to push the order through. But letting them know this kept them from being angry if it did arrive after Christmas. And just as a quick little bonus tip, if you're using, one of those popular mock-ups like the pajama bottoms are visible in the mock-up, they might ask you if you sell those. And then they might ask you where they could get them when you tell them that you're not selling them. Don't make the mistake of referring them to another shop like Target or Amazon or something like that. Just let them know that unfortunately you are not selling them. I learned last year that you are not supposed to be sending people off the Etsy platform, so it wouldn't be a good idea to be referring them to Amazon. Just a quick tip. Let's keep chatting in this video here, but not until after that tip from Tucker. Tucker, take it away.